for continual violations of the discharge permit, and they also sued EPD because EPD wasn't vigorously enforcing it. So we got sued, and we had to end up spending $10 million renovating this treatment plant and the one on Rose Scenic Drive, the Dakota Creek wastewater plant. And by the way, the dividing line, in case anybody cares, is about Tugelo Street. Everything south of Tugelo drains to East Denali, everything north of Tugelo drains to Dakota Creek wastewater plant. Anyway, they sued us, we rebuilt both plants, and that's why I got here in 1999. We had the gas line going north and the treatment plants being totally redone, and it was more decisions than one guy could make. So they split the utilities department into the water and the gas departments, and then the water director, so I came back. We got the plants online, and everything was great. We actually built it as a 2 MGD plant, 2 million gallons a day plant. But it's, the permit was 1.45. Because we were embroiled in a lawsuit in federal court, we didn't fight the increase in permit. We wanted to get into demonstrated compliance for a while. So then in 95, a new permit was issued, and they began things with phosphorus, and they started lowering the metals limits, as we all know, more some than others. We got to a point where we could not now make metals limits. And we knew that we couldn't make new metals limits. So we did an optimization study last summer, and they showed us how we could do a chemical injection system where we can add chemicals. I'm real proud of the fact that right now the treatment plant has no chemicals. It's totally a biological process. It's a living, breathing organism. And it's a great thing to be able to say. It's a natural thing. Water plants are chemical plants. You just add chemicals, and that's how you get your drinking water. These are biological systems. Well, now we're going to have to make chemical injections to be able to make permit, primarily for phosphorus and for metals. So that's a $700,000, $800,000 project. All it really involves is adding alum, aluminum sulfate, to make the things pump up and drop out, a lime slurry to be able to adjust the pH. If you raise the pH high enough, the metals precipitate out, and then the last thing is alum, I guess, in the bond clarifiers for discharge. We went through the optimization study. They showed us what we got to do to get this thing running. They told us it was going to be $700,000, and then Obama was elected, and he said, well, I'm going to start giving everybody stimulus money, so we applied for it. And it really was just a very good lockstep process. The bids will actually be open. The system's already been designed. The bids will be open September 14, probably awarded, and a notice to proceed by October 1st. All the construction will occur, and it will be online no later than April 30. Because we weren't able to make all these discharge permit limits, the state, and remember I told you the state was one of those that got sued when we got sued in federal court, EPD. Well, they've gotten a lot better at enforcement, apparently. So they sent us a consent order and gave us a $20,000 fine for the discharge violations, and also told us we had to have this thing online by April 30, which is what we were going to do anyway. So the step that we have to go through is all of this to get the new permit. We start off with watershed assessments, public meetings, EID. It's fun to talk about the DDR and the EID for the EPD and the EPA. You know, it's a bunch of letters. Environmental information document, design development report, and we are now here. We've submitted the design development report to EPD, and it's just a matter of time. We start construction and we can be built, and then we'll be back in compliance. And
the $700,000, I know where that's coming from. Where's the local match coming from?
excellent question. We had SPLOST 5 referendum 2 years ago. $500,000 was specifically set aside for improvements to the East Denali Creek wastewater treatment plant to get the 2 MGD permit. So this is all dovetailing together. We have $1 million project, $700,000 federal grant, $300,000 is going to our local match, and it's going to be paid for by SPLOST 5. And that will end up actually increasing the permit to 2 MGD. Right now we're averaging maybe 1 million gallons a day over the course of the month. So if we get a permit to 2 MGD, we'll have plenty of wastewater capacity for probably 20 years.
No, and why is that important?
You don't grow without wastewater. You got to have water, wastewater, and some energy source like gas, which is what we've got. Tacoma, this county is actually poised for a great growth cycle once the economy recovers, once these things happen as Greenville and Atlanta grow together. we're somewhat at a disadvantage in a sense because of transportation structure. We've got 85 to our south and 365 to our north, and we're kind of in that wedge in the center. But we will fill in between Habersham County and Franklin County over time.
So what happens with the other 200,000?
Well, it has to be spent on the footprint of the East Line Creek wastewater plant. There's gonna be other things that happen, but the $500,000 was designed, it was intended just to get the 2 MGD permit. But there will be other things that will come along. Again, every 5 years we get a new permit, every 5 years we get new, more stringent standards. It'll be spent. There's no question. Yes, sir.
Is there gonna be any requirements on, local industry for pre-treatment prior to this?
We already have a pretreatment program. We have an industrial pretreatment program. Have had that program since somewhere in the early 90s, I think. And we revised it. We just revised the local limits about 3 years ago. The standards are going to be increased to, how they do that, I'm sure you know, they reverse engineer it. They see how much metals or whatever the constituent the stream can handle. And then they figure out how much treatment the treatment plant can give. And they back that up to how strong the wastewater can be coming in for the treatment plant to handle so we can discharge it with the stream. And then we just impose those limits on the industry. So yes, there are probably increasingly stringent limits. Our limits already to East Nolly Creek are so low because East Nolly Creek is considered an impaired stream. It's on the EPA's list of impaired stream, the 303D list is the name of it. The stream is so environmentally damaged from over the years that the limits of what we can discharge are incredibly low. Give you an example for copper, which is one of the things we got fined for. Our copper limit is 24 parts per billion is what we can discharge. If you go across Tupelo Street and discharge to Toccoa Creek, you can discharge 2,000 parts per billion. We can discharge 2,000 parts per billion. So it's just a matter of Toccoa Creek is not as impaired for metals as East Line Creek is. So, yes, sir.
What about the water treatment plant on Rothel Road that Coates and Clark used to have?
On Rose Lane?
Rose Lane, yes.
Yeah, Rose Lane. It's apparently been re-permitted for wheelbarrows, which is a waste to, I don't even know what wheelbarrows is, but it's been re-permitted because of that. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I notice we sell a lot of water. What is it? Do we have an unlimited supply of water?
Not unlimited, but more than we need now. We've got a 9 million gallon water plant. Just happen to have the boards, it's not like water system, we just happen to have. Water plant's up on the mountain, it's a great system, 9 million gallons a day permit, 9 million gallons of capacity. It's expandable to 12 million gallons a day.
Does that come out of Yonah?
It's a leapfrog thing. Actually, all the water comes directly from Lake Toccoa by the golf course. It gets supplemented by Davidson Creek, raw water pumping station, which is actually Habersham County. And we sell water at Habersham, which I think is a key trip. We get their raw water and we treat it and turn around and sell it back.
Set it back to them?
Yeah,
That's a good plan.
pretty good. And then whenever Davidson Creek gets low, we pump it from Yonah to Davidson Creek, and we pump it again from Davidson Creek into Lake Toccoa. But it's a 9 million gallon, it's on top of the mountain, it's a great system. A lot of places like Social Circle, we have to pump water to elevated storage tanks to create water pressure. Here we've got plenty of pressure because the water is in the mountain.
No one probably won't talk about it, but if Atlanta is not able to meet what we need to meet, what happens with our water systems over here? Is there some long-range plans of cycling off water from other areas?
I've heard that the last 10 years. The sheer logistics will be tough to overcome.
But 3 million people is a lot.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, the federal court just recently decided that linear